Welcome to another episode of Ken's Corner. You've waited a long time for it, but it is here. And with me, of course, is the Butch Cassidy to my Sundance Kid, Ken.
Hey, that's an awesome. I love that movie. That movie's such a good movie. Oh man.
And of course,
years ago.
And of course, also, I would just like to say this, that we have expanded beyond Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to become the Three Amigos.
Awesome.
Love that one too.
Yeah, that's another great movie. That's awesome.
Tell us we will die like dogs.
You will die like dogs.
You'll die like dogs.
You son of a motherless goat.
You son of a motherless goat. That's awesome. Awesome. Oh, there's line after line after line of that one. Oh man.
That's when home box office, HBO actually produced good things rather than the wreck that it is making today.
Oh my, yeah. We got a little, we got a little story on that, man. Crazy. Crazy.
Not to mention, Netflix has bought HBO, I believe, correct?
Yes, totally. Yep.
But before we get there,
yeah,
let's do our tradition. Ken,
yes.
What's the shirt say this week?
Dare to be a Daniel. It's my Christmas gift from my wife to me, and I'm in one of my Bible studies. We're going through Daniel. So I've worn this last couple of weeks that I've gone to Bible study, and it's just kind of cool. Daniel is my second favorite book in the Bible. I think Revelation is my first favorite. They're both highly related. You know, John probably more than Daniel. John got shown probably a lot more, but Daniel was, chapter 11, chapter 10, chapter 9. Oh my gosh, the second half of Daniel was insane.
and what an example of how we're supposed to live in the last days.
Right.
Daniel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Ken, I was going to ask that question, actually. Are we talking about Daniel in the lion's den? We're talking about Daniel being able to translate the hands scratching on the wall.
Yeah. Handwriting on the wall. Everything. The whole book is insane. I think I'm going to listen to that because I listen to. I think I've told the audience before. I listen to Revelation every night. I go to sleep with it, or
Dude, you've been doing that for years.
Yeah, I've been doing that for like almost 3 years. I've been doing that because it is the only book that promises twice in Revelation 22 and Revelation 1:3. It promises a special blessing to those who read and understand the words of this prophecy, and so I'm trying to put it together. I've been listening to a lot of different teachers on Revelation, and I've been even listening to like the guys who are kind of heretics, what's it called? Oh my gosh, when they don't believe in a millennium.
Amillennialists.
Oh yes. So I've been listening to some of their stuff, and they end up being anti-Israel, and it's crazy. Some of their stuff, it's just I shake my head. So anyway, I've been doing that for 3 years about.
Hey, just to add in, like with the book of Daniel, is to me where that whole book is based on, like starting was when they got taken from Israel into Babylon. They refused to eat the king's food. They prayed together and they said, we are going to stay faithful to our God. And they did it as a group of young men together, and they built each other up. That it was in those times that they built the faith and the strength to be able to stand in the face of Nebuchadnezzar and of evil. It all goes back to their commitment back then when they prayed together and refused to give in to the flesh and lived in the spirit.
Amen. Yes. Great words.
That's a far cry from me listening to the Psalms before I sleep every night.
But that's good. I used to do that. I used to listen to Psalms. I listened to Psalms for about 3-4 years, and then I just wanted to understand Revelation deeper, and I should probably go. I should probably listen to the whole Bible. I do listen to the Bible daily, but
Dude, that's got to be like 5 years.
Yeah.
You've been doing that.
Yeah, I probably because since I moved out here, probably
you were doing that in the hospital.
Yeah, I was. Yep, you're right. So I'm about
Is that
I'm
when
going
it
on 5
started,
years.
or?
Yeah, I think so. That's when it started. Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, we've been down here for 3.5, and that was long.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So awesome.
That is great.
Awesome.
Well,
right.
for those of you that do not know, Brett and Ken will be doing a double clothesline to the fake news media bias that is out there.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a broken. That's a Jake Paul's broken chin, I think.
Oh my gosh! You see his face was so swollen. Oh my gosh! Hey, real quick, I'm going to say, remember to like, share, and comment. Comment. Me and Brett always love answering your comments. So
yes,
let us know you're listening. Yep, absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And with that, let us get ready to rumble with our first story.
Yes.
According to recent surveys, trust in pastors is at an all-time low. Apparently, when shepherds start acting like CEOs, influencers, and political operatives, the sheep get a little bit suspicious. I wonder why.
I wonder why. But the trust in pastors has declined to a historic low. Clergy in the U.S. continue to face increasing scrutiny and skepticism, according to Gallup's latest Honesty and Ethics survey. The survey found that only 27% of people say clergy members have very high levels of honesty and ethics. In contrast, 25 years ago, check this out, 25 years ago, the number was 64%. So pastors in the U.S. face a culture that no longer gives them the benefit of the doubt. Although the trust in pastors continues to drop, the Gallup also found that the rebound in church attendance is up. So that's an odd one. So 36% of U.S. adults said they have a great deal of confidence in church. So that's up, apparently. But currently, nurses are at 75%. This is the percentage of people this is the Gallup poll. Military veterans are at 67%. Medical doctors, 57%. Pharmacists, 53%. They have the highest level of trust among Americans. The remainder of the report, high school teachers, 50%, police officers, 37%, accountants, 35%, funeral directors, 32%, and clergy was at 27%. The worst member, can you guys guess who the worst member?
Lawyers.
Lawyers. Yeah, it was down there. It was like 9%, but it was Congress, 7%, and telemarketers, 5%. But lawyers were like 9 or 10. I forget. Lawyers were down there like top.
Unbelievable. Telemarketers below lawyers.
Below lawyers. Gallup has begun rating 23 professions since early 2000. The 64% to 27% decline is the steepest among professions in history. So that's a crazy decline. In 1985, 67% of Americans rated pastors as very high in honesty and ethics. Segments of the population was an odd observance as well. Non-white Americans are at 18% of trust in churches. So that was an odd number. The age breakdown just shows a bleak future. Americans 55 and older are at 38%. Americans 35 to 45 are at 24%, and Americans 34 and under are at 17%. So I've seen other states stats that say that just 4% of Americans have a biblical worldview, and that 37% of pastors have a biblical worldview. I remember seeing that from somewhere. What I see is much of the church has fallen in love with politics. That's what I see. And America, unfortunately, is more divided than the 60s. We all have to keep our eye on God and answer ultimately to him. So we can see where we're moving at this point. And the average American will have circles of relationship and influence, but where they won't have one single person with a biblical worldview, and that in either of those circles. And that's crazy. That's crazy.
What's the number again that actually trust pastors?
Yeah, it's 27%.
And did
27%.
you say that only 37% of pastors have a biblical worldview?
Yes, and that's from the
wow.
Yeah, 37. So
no wonder the number plummeted.
But you just look at, you ask my Lutheran clients, ask any of these people, they don't have a biblical worldview. They don't believe in Israel. They don't believe it. God's going to do anything for Israel.
They should believe, even read Revelation if they're Lutherans.
Yeah. They don't believe in Revelation. Yeah, I mean the two guys that I trained, that they said, why do you do that? Because I told them I listened to Revelation. I said, because it's the only book that promises a special blessing out of every single book in the Bible. And they're like, oh, it's like, come on, guys, come on.
Dude, I've been amazed, especially down here, how many people that say they've been Christians for so long and they've never read anything out of the book of Revelation.
Yes, that's what I'm finding.
I have an even worse number for you guys to consider. 27%, right? That 20% who do trust their pastors, guess which pastors? Joel Osteen.
The Joel Osteen, yes. And that's why the 4%, I think, was the guy who wrote this. I think that was a Barna, because I was taking a little bit of Gallup and a little bit of Barna, and I think because he's saved, right? Barna isn't he?
I think so.
Wasn't he like that before? Yeah, I think we did. I think in another show we talked about him, but he was talking about how he thinks that 4% of Americans have a biblical worldview, and I truly believe that that's about right, because they don't read. Nobody reads the Bible.
I can tell you from TikTok and talking to Eastern Orthodox and talking to Catholics and talking to Calvinists, you're not far off.
No,
it's a very bleak theological field out there, and there's and so much heresy. That I'm seeing,
and I'm seeing too, especially with Israel, and seeing that.
Especially Israel.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And that's just, I mean, we know most of the denominations believe in replacement theology, but they never really talk about it that much. But it seems over the last few years that has really increased, that now they're being open about it.
Yeah. They don't care anymore. Yep. Straight up open.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Our next story, Trump says he may invoke the Insurrection Act. Half of the country heard dictatorship. The other half heard finally. Meanwhile, almost nobody bothered to read the law. That's where we've come in. That's where we come in.
Yes.
So, startup Governor Tim Walz threatened to command the state's National Guard to attack federal agents, saying, quote, "We do not need any further assistance or help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Christine Noem, you have done enough. We've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks." What it sounded like quite a threat there. And he goes on to say, "Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight." But yet he's more than happy to use it as a prop to make it a sanctuary city and use his political agenda to completely flood U.S. residents with illegals. In response, Trump quoted on, I think it was on True Social, said, "If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act," unquote. And then this is what I didn't realize into getting into this article, that 15 different presidents have invoked the Insurrection Act over 30 separate occasions. The last was done by George Bush in 1992 during the Los Angeles riots.
Yep.
And
I remember
then
that.
just to give a little about how the script and how the media has flipped.
Are you prepared to
President Obama deported in 2012 409,000 people. And in his efforts in doing that, his chief ICE agent received an award. But under President Trump in 2025, they deported only 290,000 people. And President Trump's in charge of ICE gets labeled a Nazi. The little bit of contradiction with this is under both President Obama and President Trump, it was Tom Homan in both administrations.
Yeah.
So he gets awarded under Obama, but gets called a Nazi under President Trump.
Oh, man.
The other just kind of interesting article that kind of just falls and goes along with this is what one of our favorite sheriffs, Sheriff Grady from the Polk County in Florida, was talking about one of the reasons they don't have a problem with illegals is because they do comply with ICE. They hand their illegals over to ICE. And he said that in the last year, in just traffic stops alone, they've arrested and turned over to ICE 557 illegals on traffic stops. And 74% of those people they pulled over had additional crimes that they were guilty of, while the other 26% were just there illegally. So it's like the whole left's idea that these are just good people trying to, do what they want just does not fit the narrative.
No. Did you see that CBS report on murders plummeting by more than 20%? Did you see that? Like it's down like the early it's the murder rate
1900s.
1900, yeah. It's down for this. It's a single drop record of 2024 or sorry 2025. It's ever. Like the 19 ever. Yeah, it's nuts. That's a CBS report too.
So let me get this straight. Is Tim he's being subpoenaed to testify.
Yeah. Him and Frey are they're guilty as ever. You can't see this. I can't believe people don't see how. Look at these guys.
People are coalescing around them as if they're heroes.
Yeah. It's what they're heroes to. Who are they heroes to? Yeah.
And then the thing that gets me is you have the mayor of Minnesota coming out and saying that this is all about love and we're supposed to just love everybody. And what I have yet to hear anybody talk about on the media is, so you're for this illegal immigration. So you're for women and children getting sex trafficked. You're for them getting raped across the border. I mean,
exactly.
The people, I know people, and I know you do too, that work Border Patrol and the horrors of what goes on. Yeah. I mean, there was that one girl that they found, gosh, I want to say, I think she was only 12. I don't remember exactly. And they found 9 different DNA samples inside her.
Yeah. Like, I remember that.
This is what you want, but they never bring that side up.
No, they don't. Nope.
I think the mayor is not one to discriminate what type of love we're talking about.
Right.
No, right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Well,
Maranatha
is absolutely right. And if you didn't know that, guess what? I have this next story. According to recent studies, 1 out of every 3 kids shows, now included on Netflix, has LGBTQ transgender themes, which means at this rate, Dora will not just explore anymore. She will facilitate this panel discussion.
Study finds 1 in 3 kids shows feature LGBTQ content. A new year end report from the group Concerned Women of America, or for America, reveals that a large portion of children's streaming television shows contain sexualized LGBTQ context, even when labeled as suitable for young audiences. So the findings raise questions about whether current rating systems provide parents with accurate information about what their children are watching. But according to the report, 41% of programs marked as G-rated on Netflix include LGBT themes and transgender themes. The report also shows that recent reboots of children's series often introduces LGBTQ characters where none existed in the original version. I've seen that before. CWA criticized what it views as a deliberate effort by content creators to use children's programming as a vehicle for cultural change rather than mere entertainment. The report contrasts today's landscape with past television history. It highlights how mainstream LGBTQ representation has grown since the 1997 debut of Ellen DeGeneres' character coming out. Do you remember that on the Ellen show? And which was a cultural flashpoint at the time. Report also acknowledges that the longstanding efforts of groups like GLAAD, which has GLAAD, which has companioned increased LGBTQ representation on television for decades. Overall, parents should be more aware of what their children are consuming. The current rating system should better reflect the nature of content, particularly sexual content. And that's just sad. But we see it. You know, I go to hotels, and we don't have TV here. I have about 2,500 movies. I think I mentioned that one time. We have just boxes and boxes on these stanchion. Just a whole bunch of videos, and I just throw in a video if I want to watch something, and we just watch that. But I'm telling you, when we go on vacation, I tune in, and it's like I just keep doing the channel change, just channel change, and guess who I end up watching? I think I've mentioned it on this program. So I end up watching Bob Ross, the drawing. I end up, and it's a Bob Ross channel. Every time we go on vacation, my wife goes, "All right, you turn it on Bob Ross," and I'm like, "Yep." And I just turn straight to Bob. I find Bob Ross, and he's on the whole time. So,
yeah, to just talk about like what a good job the media has done is. This was probably about 6 years ago, maybe 5. I was talking to one of my clients and saying how I just can't watch TV anymore because of how much they're pushing the LGBT agenda.
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't realize it. She's like, I haven't seen it. And I go, whatever your 2 favorite shows are, watch those and let me know next time how long it takes before they show a gay scene that has nothing to do with the plot. And the next time I saw her, she goes, I can't believe it. It was like less than 15 minutes for both shows. And it just done such a good job desensitizing people to it that the average person doesn't even recognize it anymore.
I submit to both of you that actually they've been at it a lot longer than you. Teletubbies? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Barney?
Yeah. Barney, yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Bert and Ernie?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
This kind of fits into it. Gosh, I don't know who the medical doctor was, but did you guys see the clip of the medical doctor that was on Congress, in front of Congress, and got grilled for 15 minutes on, can you answer yes or no? Can a man get pregnant? And he absolutely refused to answer the question. Yes, she didn't know what to say. It's like, can men get pregnant? Josh Hawley kept grilling her. It was Josh Hawley. And I can't believe I missed that one. Yeah, because I was writing down all my. There's so much news. It's too much news, guys. There's too much going on. But he was just grilling and just kept going. Said, but you need to tell me, can men get pregnant? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can men get pregnant? And she's just like, well, oh man, want to throw up. You're a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a very nuanced. It's a very nuanced thing, the biology. There is no black and white or binary plus or zeros or ones.
Dude, I would have failed all my physiology classes if I would have had those answers.
Yep, yep. And that's just how long ago? 20 years ago? 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Nuts.
30
Yeah.
years ago. No,
30
years ago.
years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
33
yeah,
years
30.
ago.
Yep.
Woo.
Those were some good times, man. The 90s and the 80s were such good times.
Oh,
I miss them. They were tremendous.
Not a grunge
Ah,
fan, even though I grew
No.
up in the age of grunge.
yeah.
Speaking of grunge, let's move on to our next story about the land of grunge, Germany. After years of shutting down nuclear plants, the name of clean energy, Germany is now quietly admitting something awkward. Reliable power matters. It turns out ideology doesn't keep the lights on. Physics do.
Yes.
So it's a really rare day when somebody on the left actually admits a mistake. But of course, Chandler Mertz blamed it on previous administrations when he said, quote, "It was a serious strategic mistake to exit nuclear energy. If you were going to do it, you should have at least kept the last remaining nuclear power plants in Germany on the grid 3 years ago so that there would have been the same electricity generation capacity," unquote. Germany is basically committing economic suicide, not only by closing down all their nuclear energy plants, but also adopting full-blown the climate change agenda, and then also agreeing to go to negative interest rates, completely undercutting the economy, and then also agreeing to cut off Russian imports. The decision it has crippled their economy. And Mertz also went on to say, quote, "We're making the most expensive energy transition in the entire world. I don't know of a second country that makes it as difficult as an expense for itself as Germany does. We set ourselves a goal that we now have to correct, but we simply don't have enough time to generate the capacity," unquote. Germany closed the last of its nuclear plants in 2023, and Germany now relies on expensive renewables like wind and solar, and right for 60% of their energy, but are still pushing to get renewables up to 80% by 2030. And people don't realize the significance of this story is Germany is what is the backbone of the EU, and with their GDP. If France is already on the border of falling economically, if Germany goes, it's going to be a contagion, and every EU country is going to go under. And I think that's the underlying agenda as well, is why they constantly keep pushing this war with Russia, because they see Russia as that gold mine with that $75 trillion of natural resources that Russia has. That is the only thing that's going to save the EU. And that's why they refuse to have peace. They're never going to agree to a peace deal. They think they can go in and take over Russia. And at this point, they don't, economically, they almost don't have a choice.
No, yeah. Crazy. Wow.
Sounds like the Weimar Republic.
Yep.
Right?
A bigger version of it. Yeah, a bigger version of it.
Deutschland has no more power. All right, here we go. We're going to watch a movie. It's time to watch a movie. Let's see here.
Popcorn.
Are you prepared to take the oath of office?
Yes, I am.
Please place your left hand on the Quran, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ghazala Firdos Hashmi,
Do solemnly swear
that
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I will support the Constitution.
She's swearing, and if you look, there's an idol right here, an engraven image on the seal of Virginia that she's swearing to be the second in command of a pagan state. Wow, what kind of Muslim is this?
I know.
Well, also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what exactly do the Muslims use their left hand for? I think
Yes,
it's something to do
yes.
with the reason they're not allowed to eat with it.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
But you can put it on the
that's
Quran because
yeah.
those two go together.
Yeah, there you go. There
By the
you
way,
go. That's
wha-
it.
Why isn't she wearing a hijab?
I don't know.
Right?
She doesn't yet. So yeah, there you go. We can scrutinize that for days. It's crazy.
There's so much
Uh,
there.
Yeah, there's so much there. Yeah, and it's worse than first it was Mandami in New York, and now we have what's her name, Ghazala Hashmi, who's sworn on lieutenant governor on the Quran, and so the video that was seen on social media, Hashmi was seen being instructed to place her left hand on the Quran, raise her right hand. She defeated radio host John Reed. I didn't know he was running, but he's a conservative, and he was running on very strong principles. Meanwhile, Hashmi appealed to her status as a diverse coordinator candidate. So here's what's funny. Russian President Vladimir Putin envoy told New York City Mayor Zahan Mandami that his collectivist method of governing has been done before, quote unquote, saying the new leader is doing a solid job, quote unquote, of steering the U.S. toward communism. Just a reminder of what Mandami said in his inaugural address, and I'll just tell you what he said. Said, quote, "We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism." AOC also spoke at Mandami's public inauguration, saying Mandami will usher in a new era for New York City. So grab your popcorn, man. It's going to be interesting.
New eras of body bags.
Yeah.
What follows after collectivism?
Did you see the Tucker? While I'm on this, so Tucker had the Great Replacement myth from. Did you see his interview? And I kind of watch him with a grain of. I watch him with a grain of salt because he's really anti-Israel, and he has these people that are just freakish on their anti-Israel stuff. But anyway, so U.S. in 1950 to now, New York 90% white, 1950 now 30%. LA, 94% white, now 37%. Chicago, 86% white, now 29%. But he went through like 3 or 4 of the cities that were not as bad. But the New York, LA, Chicago, they were, yeah. But he was just looking at demographics and looking at what's going on with demographics. But I just thought that was interesting. But, yeah. Grab your popcorn.
Yep.
I got good popcorn.
We're constantly being told Ilhan Omar and Nancy Pelosi represent the triumph of the marginalized. The funny thing is, the system they say is so oppressive seems to have worked out so spectacularly well for them. I wonder why.
Exactly.
We can all be obsessed like that.
Yeah, Omar's unexplained wealth, and this is just recent. And Nancy Pelosi at least had to work for her wealth. She had to follow the stocks, and I mean she's probably worth like 500, 600, 800 million, whatever. And that's just crazy. But Omar is now facing intensifying federal scrutiny as House Republicans investigate how the far-left Congresswoman and her family have amassed millions of dollars in just 1 year. So her net worth skyrocketed between 2024 and 2025 to levels far beyond a lawmaker's salary while serving in Congress. So Omar sits at the top of the suspects in the sprawling Somali fraud scandals involving taxpayer-funded daycare and healthcare programs in Democrat-controlled Minnesota. The House Oversight Committee is now actively probing how Omar and her husband, her husband's name is Democrat consultant Tim Maynett, went from nearly financial collapse to an estimated net worth of $30 million in just 1 year, according to a new report from Fox News' Jesse Waters. He did a full report. This staggering increase in wealth has raised alarms on Capitol Hill. Omar has previously insisted that she was not a millionaire. The Oversight Committee has examined Omar's wealth surge in the context of the massive Somali social service fraud scandal, and that has erupted in her Minnesota district. Investigators are reportedly questioning whether political connections, influence, or inside access may have intersected with financial windfall. This investigation is so long overdue. It goes so long, goes so long,
and so deep.
And what's funny is you can see the mayor. You can see what's his name. Shoot, I just forgot the mayor's name. I remember. I remember what? Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah,
Frey, Jacob Frey. Yeah, Jacob Frey, and they're just going on. They're like putting out fires, and they're just cause more fires when they talk. It's nuts.
Crazy thing is, did you see? I don't know who it was, but there was a guy just out interviewing people in Minnesota and asking about the scandal, and the people were actually saying that's not even true. No money was taken.
Yep. I saw that. Yep. And they wow. I can't believe that Nick Shirley's going with that guy who had paperwork that he's investigated for the last 5 years of how much money they took: 2.5 million, 3 million, 4 million, 2 million, 5 million, and it's over.
Were there.
It's hundreds of millions, and these people, it's nuts. I don't understand.
There's a reason why in the Bible it says so many times, "Do not be deceived."
Be deceived. Yep.
We are exactly in the end times where deception is everywhere, and the people are just buying it.
Well, we learned this from Jacob. Is Matthew 24? He says, "Do not be deceived." 4 times he says, talk about coming earthquakes and famine and all this other stuff. One time, and then he talks about do not be deceived 4 times. So that's what's crazy.
I got on here. I just got done going through our Bible study here, and we did the first chapter of James. And just off the top of my head, I know for sure. Just in the first chapter of James, he says, "Do not be deceived," talking to the brethren, talking to believers, at least twice, if not 3 times.
Wow, I'm going to read that. Yeah, I'm going to read James. Yeah, unbelievable. Wow.
And again, he's talking to believers.
Yeah.
The non-believers, they're like Jacob said, they're
gone. They're gone.
Yeah, they have no moral compass.
They don't. Yep.
Discernment. I don't think people know what that word means. I think they think it means like places you go for an extended stay on the government dime, like internment camps.
Yep.
They're kind of allergic to it.
Yeah.
This is so off topic, but did you see the video of and I don't know who the guy was that was going around, and he went up to a lady's house that had abortion as healthcare, and was saying he was collecting to help puppies get abortions.
You have to send me that. I did not see that.
I gotta find it.
You gotta find it and send me that.
She's all pro-abortion, and then she wants to help the puppies. And then the guy goes, "Well, I gotta let you know this money. There's too many dogs in the world, so we're gonna be aborting puppy fetuses." And she's like, "Oh no, I can't do that." And then he's like, "Well, isn't that your car out there that has the bumper sticker, abortion is healthcare?"
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
Wait,
I'll find it.
I'm lost. So to kill a puppy in the womb
is wrong.
Yeah. And haven't you seen that guy on YouTube? He goes around and he talks about abortion, and he says, do you want to sign this thing to stop puppy abortions and stop getting puppies out? And they said, yeah, we'll sign. Yes, we'll sign. And he goes, actually, here's another one on regular abortion. And they're like, oh no, we don't want that. Oh no, we don't. So it's just beyond lunatic.
Well, and I mean, the thing down here too is, the turtles are a huge deal here, and people come just to see the turtles get back to the ocean and how everything they do to protect the turtle eggs and the fine you would get if you mess with them. It's like it's years in prison.
Wow.
But yet you can abort a baby and it's
Whatever.
no problem. I mean, there was
Yep.
there was one lady and she was going, do you know that 1/3 of I think it was Gen Z has already been murdered? And they're
Yeah,
like, what are you
yeah.
talking about? It's like
Yeah.
1/3 of that population was aborted.
Yep. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We can see the future. The future doesn't look too bright, folks.
No.
Nope.
What are you
Trust in the
talking
Lord.
about? The future has Android womb. It has all sorts of like Android healthcare. You know, it has the replacement of people working with universal basic income and living in a room that's like 16 by 5.
Nope.
What?
I don't want
The
it.
future is bright. I gotta
Yeah,
work it.
I don't want it. I'll be gone way before you guys. So see ya.
Yeah, we're out of here.
I'm out of here.
Well, the U.S. is moving to ban Chinese-made cars near military bases because apparently rolling surveillance platforms with Wi-Fi, cameras, and microphones don't pair well with national security. Nothing says American auto industry like General Motors competing with General Tso's Motors.
So starting off, now 10% of all the cars sold in Poland are manufactured in China, which makes a year-over-year increase of 427%. And I can tell you in Costa Rica down here, the Chinese, even though electricity is expensive, the Chinese EV cars are huge down here because you can get a brand new car for like 12 to 15 grand. And cars down here are expensive. It's just, they're so inexpensive. And I think you just run them till they die and buy a new one. But so China's been undercutting the market in the EU, but they're posing even a deeper threat. Poland is along with Israel has refused to let Chinese cars enter any military bases. The IDF has recalled over 700 Chinese EVs, citing, quote, real concern of sensitive information leak. The UK has also banned certain Chinese cars from sensitive military bases. The UK Minister of Defense has asked the people, so he's telling any military people, if you're in a Chinese car, to monitor their conversations and to always assume that the Chinese are listening to them all the time.
Wow.
And just a note is all modern vehicles today now have advanced cameras, GPS, microphones, and the ability to log all the data.
Wow.
And I mean, and I experienced this back when I was in the States when I had not that, I mean, gosh, what would have been like a 2019 Acura? And it would send me a text on my phone, how many miles I've driven, what the level of my oil was at. I mean, it was
Wow.
crazy. It would read and then send not only to the dealership, but then to my phone.
Wow.
And it's like, I can't imagine what they have now. I mean,
What they have now. What they have
7-8 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Who knows what they have now? Probably have AI inside of it sending back everything to Xi Jinping.
I mean, the main server. Yeah.
Speaking of speech, probably just from this show alone, we'll all be banned from ever going to the UK.
Yeah. We can't go. Nope. I'm never traveling until I get to the millennium. I tell my wife that I don't have anybody to see. I don't have anybody out. My dad died. My mom's died. My brothers died. And so I don't have to go anywhere. So I'm going to just wait till the millennium and then go anywhere I want.
Well, hopefully I get to go film some other documentaries.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. You guys are different. You guys are different. You got to get back to the States, brother. Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
Pretty
yep,
soon. My
Yep.
wife's there now.
yep. It's awesome.
Oh, you're coming back?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna spend some time here, but we're actually just the way things worked out, we're gonna rent here and we got a place in Tennessee. So
Everybody's
Awesome.
going to Tennessee. You know what?
Yeah.
That's it.
we're officially volunteers.
yes, exactly. Woo!
I'm going to
Love it.
volunteer your location to ICE.
No.
Hey,
Oh,
our residency here got denied. They're not denied.
Oh.
It's a mess.
Why?
And all the people that say that how bad America is have never lived outside. I mean,
they have no
we love it
clue.
here, not knocking it, but it is difficult to get anything done. It is difficult to be able to get the right information. Usually the first 3 things you hear are wrong. And that's even from
Yeah.
lawyers. It's
Yeah.
just, it's people don't realize how good they've had it. Go live outside
Yeah.
of the US and then come back and
Yeah, we talked about it. It's
how
It's
bad
crazy.
you think it is.
Yep. Yeah. Nuts.
Our next story, Congress is investigating reports of cash found in luggage because in Washington, the real crime isn't corruption. It's cutting out the middlemen.
Yeah, Congress is moving quickly to investigate cash and luggage exodus from U.S. airports, especially the Minnesota airport. But 2 powerful committee chairmen in Congress are moving quickly to investigate why Somali immigrant couriers were moving hundreds of millions out of the U.S. airports in their luggage to overseas destinations the last few years. They are investigating the possibility whether there is a connection to the massive fraud scheme in Minnesota.
You
There's a
think?
connection. You think, or terror groups in their native country of Africa. We're going to, so this is a quote, we're going to do whatever it takes to get to the bottom of this, and it will mean subpoenaing these things. Rand Paul said in an interview, we'll get specific names and they will be receiving subpoenas quick as we can get them out the door. Because we are serious about this. This is widespread professional organization, is what he said as well. TSA has flagged nearly 700 million in cash carried in the luggage of a handful of Somali immigrants in 2024 and 2025. That's only 1 year. 700 million.
You know
That's a million.
how many suitcases
Dude,
full of cash
right?
are in?
Dude, and look, and it said this is the Minneapolis airport alone that is between 20. So despite the red flags, the Biden administration refused to investigate, even though the cash movement out of Minneapolis were 49 times larger than those of any other international airport. 49 times larger. So this is nothing but a taxpayer-funded welfare program estimated at $9 billion under the Democratic Governor Tim Walz, who was almost our vice president. This is insane. That's insanity. And they choose to they distract people's attention toward the other. And it's just we need to focus on Fry. What was the name again? Fry, right? Frey, and Tim Walz. We need to focus on both of them. It's nuts.
I mean, but yet if we take $10,000 anywhere out of the country, it's a federal crime.
Yes.
And they just
Yes.
them.
Yes. And they have millions in their in 2 bags. They showed a couple of them. I saw on Twitter a couple of videos of people that were just filming, and they just walked through. They didn't even put their money in the scanner. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you guys think TSA actually gets funded? Come on.
Exactly. Yeah, it's ludicrous. It's crazy. Oh man. You just have to laugh.
You have to. At a certain point, you have to. Now this next story I don't really understand. Don Lemon went inside of a church and he didn't catch on fire.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Oh man, whose story is that? Is that his story?
I think we were both talking about that.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna discuss well, they arrested the guy in the beard, the guy who was yelling at everybody, and Don Lemon was talking to the pastor, and the pastor kind of, he's like crowding him, and he put his hand out to just kind of like do this, and Don Lemon, don't touch me. I mean, it's like, man, you can't see that this guy's a scammer. He's a scammer.
And then he went outside and went on Twitter. He may have redacted it now, but was saying, "Oh, this is our free speech. All you absolutionists that want free speech, how can you say that?" And it's like, this is in direct violation of the FACE Act.
Go
into a house of worship. It is absolutely illegal. It's just like against us, we can't block an abortion clinic. That's not covered under.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. High five, buddy. High five. That's awesome. Yeah, we can't go in there. Yeah. Let's go in there and just say, hey, you guys let those people go into the church. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a church of Moloch after all. It is.
Yeah. It is a church. Yeah, it's a church.
I think my favorite one was when Don Lemon said, "Well, I'm a Christian, and this isn't my type of Christianity."
Yes.
When's the last time that hypocrite opened a Bible?
Oh my gosh, he doesn't know anything about the Bible. He doesn't know anything about Christianity. He doesn't know. Yeah, he's a man. He's got that. Go ahead.
I had a quote here that what was he? Okay, so he said. He called that it was white Christianity is a form of white supremacy. Christians that it's not his type of Christianity, and what he practiced. We are not saying that we are not a Christian nation, that it is not made up of white males, and he called the church an intimidating factor.
But he's a Christian.
But he's a Christian. Yeah, no, he doesn't know when he's contradicting himself. He just always contradicts himself and just says the stupidest things. And I can't believe people actually. Did he get kicked off of CNN, or is he still there? I don't know.
I think he's gone.
He's gone. Okay.
Remember, Elon hired him for a minute until he interviewed him.
Yeah.
Elon hired him.
It's like Elon said, "Nope, sorry." Yeah. Yep. You're psycho. Yep, he is. He's psycho. Man.
And then we were talking about it before, like the churches. I mean, in the states that I was at and you were at, like, man, those people would not have reached even halfway to the altar. That wouldn't have happened.
No. My 12 or 10 or whatever I have all these black friends who are Christian, and they posted on. I kept seeing their feeds on Instagram, and they kept posting. One guy was in Chicago, and he says, "Come to my church, and we'll see how far you get up." And he goes, "That includes Don Lemon, the black kid, the black guy, because he said the guy in the beard, you guys would have never made it up." But I did see today where they arrested the guy with the beard who was you come and arrest me and see what happens or whatever.
Yeah.
And they arrested the big black girl that is part of BLM there or whatever. I don't know what I forget her name, but she's not the Patrice Colliers or any of the head honch, but she's still a money taken. Yeah.
Let me just ask a question real quick. So when he said, "You come arrest me, see what happens," they turned him around, they put handcuffs on him, and let him to the car.
Yeah, but that's basically what happened. They did. They came and arrested him, and he's like, "Oh, you can't do this," and it's like, "Yeah, we can. You can't threaten. You can't do that. You can't." Yeah, that's awesome. Go into an abortion place and do that. Yeah, well, I didn't think of that. That's awesome.
Trump does nothing in Minnesota. The real question is whether he's acted, why he acted, it's a do nothing suddenly has become acceptable after years of the leader being praised for doing all sorts of things. Why is
Well,
he so?
I don't know what I just his do nothing Minnesota response is kind of a weak embarrassment, and I don't know if he's going to start doing something, but I don't know. Pam Bondi said she's the one that was or is it yeah, Pam Bondi, she's the one responsible for the guy with the beard and the black lady that got arrested. But so while President Trump overzealous, obsessed about acquiring Greenland and other foreign policy ventures, a major American state is continuing its rapid decline in the third world despotism. We see Minnesota going downhill. By now, most of you have seen the virtual incident. We've been talking anti-ICE agitators storming the church. We've been talking about it. Anti-ICE group screeched in the faces of attending families, including minors. I don't know if you saw the minors crying. They were like, what's going on? Yeah. The anti-ICE group reportedly believed one of the church pastors was a member of ICE. So I don't know if that's true, but members of the Trump administration quickly took to social media to pledge accountability for the incident. Pam Bondi claimed that the Justice Department will prosecute federal crimes and ensure that the rule of law prevails. Caroline Leavitt said that President Trump will not tolerate the intimidation and harassment of Christians in their sacred places of worship, except the president has already tolerated this type of leftist-led intimidation and harassment through Minnesota for weeks. So the reason those left-wing wackos felt comfortable enough storming that church is because Trump and his administration have given them zero reason to fear any accountability for their action. That's just my opinion. So left-wing violence and harassment against ICE agents and everyday residents has been occurring in Minneapolis and across the state for weeks. And thus far, Trump and his team have done virtually nothing but fire off a bunch of empty threats that have nothing to shut down, that have done nothing to shut down interference with immigration operations and other leftist-led harassment of civilians. Minnesota political leaders, Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey, have made it abundantly clear that since these attacks began, they will not enforce law and they will protect immigration authorities operating in the city. In just observing a weak and pathetic response that is totally embarrassing, and if he should continue this impotent strategy, impotent strategy, the anarchy currently unfolding is bound to get much, much worse. Continued giving up on proper law enforcement will further embolden the leftist agitators to take more egregious and increasingly violent actions against ICE and non-leftists in Minnesota. And lastly, once their allies operating in other cities start seeing that there are no real consequences from the Trump administration from this apparent lawbreaking, the violence will in all likelihood spread like wildfire across the country, cultivating in the summer of love 2.0. That's what I got to say about that.
You know what I think we need to bring back? And granted, we'd have to clean up the language a little bit, but the Chris Rock skit.
Oh.
How not to get your butt kicked by the police.
Yes. How not to get, yes. Oh my gosh. I remember that like it was yesterday.
You need to look that up.
Oh my gosh.
I apologize for the language, but.
Oh yeah. That's awesome though.
That's a classic.
Classic. Yeah, you can't have that comedy anymore. You can't make fun of yourselves like that. Like it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
We see what happens when Chris Rock jokes. So,
yes. He gets slapped in the face.
Slapped in the face.
Yeah. And it's like, oh man, that was
Keep
crazy.
Your wife out of my mouth. Wait, no.
Keep your wife out of your mouth.
My wife.
Keep my wife out of your mouth. Yeah. And I thought it was a show. Yeah, I thought it was a show, and it wasn't. I guess he came up and really did that, and he went back and sat in the audience and enjoyed the rest of the show.
And he should have been arrested. Applauded for him when he got an award or something later on too.
Yeah, nuts.
No repercussions.
No repercussions whatsoever. None.
That's how fake Hollywood can be.
Yes.
That's about all the time we have this week. I'm going to close us with this scripture. This is Joshua 1:9, and this is something we all need to be a little bit better about doing. Sometimes it's very hard to do. I admit I'm the first one to be a failure at it, but as I encourage myself, I encourage you. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Man.
Amen.
That changes a life right there if you believe it.
Yes, it does.
So with that, Ken, Brett, it's been a pleasure. This has been another episode of Ken's Corner. We want to thank you so much for watching. We will be back as soon as we can schedule something in between all the rest of the stuff that's going on.
Awesome. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Awesome. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.